and welcome into another episode of Morgan's Pop Talks, breaking down the latest in reality TV and pop culture. Boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to discuss. All things Summer House updates in the Amanda Petula Wes Wilson romance this week's episode, which, my land sakes of mercy. I've watched it twice now, unfortunately, and it doesn't get easier. Not only that, we have the battle of the Alixes, Cooper versus Earle, what is going on, and all of the other biggest stories in reality TV and pop culture this week. So let's go ahead and get into it. Sorry, I'm just looking at my posture on the YouTube video. I'm just rolling the shoulders back, and how many of you are sitting at your steering wheel right now and just went ahead and rolled your shoulders back? Head up, girls, chin up. It's time to take on the world via pop culture. I'm just going to get into it because we have 9 pages of notes to get to today. And I know that's what you're here for anyway, so let's go. Cooper v. Earle, battle royale of the famous blonde hair, blue-eyed influencers. Can I just say first and foremost, this story, it's like the low-stakes drama that I love, right? Nothing too crazy, nothing too salacious, although we don't know the entire details yet. But I will say, it has been driving me absolutely bonkers that I have to distinguish between Alix Cooper and Alix Earle every single time that I tell this story because I get them confused in my head. I mean, not from like a personal standpoint because obviously they're very different, but when I'm retelling the story, I'm like, wait, did Alix Cooper do that or did Alix Earle do that? Like, we have to come up with a better way to distinguish between the two of them than saying their first and last name the entire time, unless we're just going to go with Cooper and Earle, like a boxing match. It's pretty much where we are right now. But essentially, this is what happened. Last week, Alix Earle, see, I'm already like stutter stepping in my head a little bit. Alix Earle reposted a not so great TikTok about Alix Cooper. It was posted by the Bravo mom where she calls Alix Cooper an ambulance chaser, a grim reaper. Long story short, she's saying Alix likes to profit off of people's lowest moments. She's not wrong, but also that's showbiz, baby. Like, that's podcasting in the pop culture and reality TV and entertainment world. It is what it is. Whether you're Alix Cooper or Nick Viall, you're never going to turn down an opportunity to interview somebody that everybody is talking about, whether that's for good reasons or for bad reasons. Now, I will say, I am not an Alix Cooper fan, so I'm more inclined to take Alix Earle's side of things just because I personally like her more than Alix Cooper, but Alix Cooper is like done playing the back and forth patty cake that they've been doing on social media, which if you think this is the first time they've gotten in a little squabble, I'm going to remind you of the history in a second, but Alix Cooper posted this TikTok calling out Alix Earle. She's like, Alix Earle, draw. You know, the Spider-Man meme where they're pointing at each other and they're like, you're the problem, no, you're the problem, no, you're the problem. She's like, look, girl, the passive-aggressive reposts and liking comments and whatever. She says, just say it. If you got something to say, just say it. There's no NDA, which is what a lot of people thought. A lot of people thought that since Alix Earle was at one moment in time a part of the Unwell Network, that maybe there was some sort of NDA signed to where she couldn't talk about any drama that came out of the situation if there had been drama, which there is. But Cooper says, no, there is no NDA. So say it with your full chest if you're going to say it. She also says, the reason you're not saying it is because it's really not as juicy and salacious as you're making it out to be for your own personal gain. She's like, I'm waiting, let's go. Alix Earle commented and said, okay, on it, seemingly insinuating that she's going to let it all fly. I want to take you guys back to Circus Gate because this happened in September and October of 2025. Alix Earle was on Dancing with the Stars, and this is when their relationship had already severed. They were no longer friends. Alix Earle was no longer working for Unwell under the Unwell umbrella. So Alix Earle is on Dancing with the Stars. It's early into the season, and she performs to Circus by Britney Spears, which is one of her favorite songs. I know that based on interviews that I have seen Alix Earle do. Well, not long after, Alex Cooper posted a TikTok recapping an Unwell event to the same song, Circus. It was like a couple weeks later. And, you could chalk that up as a coincidence, but it was the caption that fans really thought was pointed at Alix Earle, and it said, "How much time do you got? We could go all night." That caption was seemingly in reference to something Earle said about Alex Cooper previously. Somebody asked, "What's the drama between you and Alex Cooper?" And she said, "How much time do you have?" So there's a little back and forth there too. So it's like if Alex Cooper wants to come out and say, draw, stop being passive aggressive on social media, we can't ignore the history that Alex Cooper has participated in the past. So as of right now, we don't know the reason for their falling out. There's a lot of theories online. Alix Earle going to the Unwell Network, I think everybody can say hindsight is 2020, and was not a great business decision for Alix Earle because she didn't necessarily need it. Working under somebody like Alex Cooper and the Unwell Network and whatever, it always sounds like a good idea when you start at first, but then you realize the business behind being, I don't want to say owned, but like owned by somebody, you're signing away a lot of your rights. My background is in broadcast journalism and radio and TV. And, when you sign a contract, you sign away your name, your likeness, your image, your voice, a lot of things. I don't know if it was that in depth with a podcast contract for Hot Mess, but I can see where it would get dicey when it comes to advertisers and, Unwell is also a talent agency. So what was the crux of what she signed with Unwell? How much money did it want from Alix Earle? And Alix Earle, probably at one point was thinking, I could be getting all of this stuff on my own and not giving away a piece of the pie. That's like, that's like entry level business in the influencer creator world. I feel like there's probably more to that because I think Alex Cooper would also understand a business decision if Earle decided to leave Unwell, which she did. But there's other theories. I heard some rumors about Alix Earle's dad being her manager, and dad and Alex Cooper didn't have a great working relationship because maybe Alex Cooper wanted more. I don't know. I'm speculating at this point. They have a shared publicist, which might get a little dicey when it comes to brand deals. Dave Portnoy got on social media and said it was about a Carl's Jr. ad, something about a cheeseburger and a swimsuit. You're losing me, you're losing me at this point. But then he got on the next day and said I was incorrect about that. So I don't know, murky water, I think is the easy way to say it. But again, we don't know all the details. What Alix Earle has in her favor right now is the pattern of public fallouts that is tied to Alex Cooper. Of course, you have Sophia Franklin, you now have Alix Earle, but you also have some social media personalities that worked for Unwell that no longer work for Unwell. And they kind of did the same thing that Alix Earle's doing, right? Like liking some passive aggressive comments about working under Alex Cooper. Nothing fully committed by any party besides Sophia Franklin. She lets it fly. But the idea of, people not being happy working under Unwell or Alex Cooper, it's not a new thing to come up. And then on the flip side, you have Alix Earle, who is TikTok's sweetheart. She has a large following. She gained an even larger following on Dancing with the Stars. She almost won Dancing with the Stars, and had Robert Irwin not been so beloved as well, she probably would have won Dancing with the Stars. And in situations like this, the internet usually chooses sides with the person they trust more. It's like, how do you go up against TikTok's sweetheart? I don't think you do. Like I said, I'm more inclined to be Team Earle than Team Cooper, but I will wait and reserve my full response until I know what actually happens. Alix Earle has insinuated that she is going to share her side, but how? And I fear that we're going to be waiting a long time because I fear that Alix Earle might wait for the release of her reality TV show to share her side of the story, which would be an amazing business decision because we would all be sat with popcorn and M&Ms in our sweatpants, hair tied up in a messy bun, like waiting for that moment. If you want to make sure everybody's watching your new reality show on Netflix, put a moment like this in there. But I don't want to wait that long. And I'm sure you guys don't want to wait that long either. What are the alternative routes that Alix Earle would take to uncover the drama between her and Alex Cooper? Would it be a TikTok video? Would it be a YouTube video? Is she in the TikTok creator fund? Are you getting paid per view? Because if that's the case, maybe she will do it sooner rather than later. But I really hope that we're not having to wait until her reality show comes out because who knows when that is going to be. Let's get into headline number 2, a major update in the Taylor Frankie Paul, Dakota Mortensen legal battle. So Utah prosecutors have declined to file official charges against Taylor Frankie Paul from the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives due to lack of evidence and a statute of limitations issue. So despite this long-running investigation into domestic violence allegations involving her ex, Dakota Mortensen, officials say some incidents were too old to prosecute, while the more recent claims either didn't meet criminal standards or couldn't be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. So these are the more recent claims that have came up. The incident that happened in February, there was a third one that was brought up, but I can't remember specifically the date. The two have made allegations against each other, filed protective orders, and been involved in multiple police reports, with the ongoing drama already impacting filming across multiple different reality shows, which we'll get into. But after the decision came, Taylor reacted emotionally online, thanking her supporters. And this is what she posted to her Instagram story. Cried when I got the call. Thank you to those who have stood with me. And just to clarify, this has nothing to do with the chair throwing video that we're probably all thinking of, right? So that was from 2023, a case she already pleaded to, and the charges that just got declined are from the separate, more recent incidents. So again, we've been having this conversation a lot, and I think now that this moment in time is being put behind her, it just adds another layer of thought about the debate on whether or not Taylor's season of The Bachelorette should have been pulled. Because the 2023 incident, everybody knew about. We, as the audience, knew about it. If you have watched The Secret Lives of Mormon Lives, you saw it play out on season 1. The casting director for The Bachelorette, I'm sure, knew about it. Higher ups at Disney, ABC, Hulu. This incident, the one that has been proven beyond a reasonable doubt, was seemingly the reason why the show was pulled after the video came out. It was the video that was the driving force in the decision, I believe, because I just personally don't think if it had just remained at this level where they were investigating, that they wouldn't have lost tens of millions of dollars over an ongoing investigation. Because if this was the result of it, right, that there were no charges, they would be losing millions of dollars. And I hear some of you, I hear you yelling at me, well, Morgan, she should have never been cast as the Bachelorette to begin with. Fair point. If that's your point of view, if that's your opinion, I respect it. But she was. And they knew what happened in 2023. Did they never see the video? Maybe. But, the decision to backtrack in hindsight, I think, is sitting poorly with the Taylor Frankie Paul defenders. Let's get into headline number 3 in this week's Pop 3. Lisa Hochstein has turned herself in amid felony spying allegations against her ex, Lenny. And I purposefully kind of stayed away from this story because I wanted to get my real-time reaction on the pod. So I'm going to go through the details with you for the first time and hope that TMZ got it right. So this is what TMZ said. Real Housewives of Miami star Lisa Hochstein has turned herself into the authorities in Miami, and it's all tied to a felony charge accusing her of secretly spying on her ex-husband, Lenny Hochstein. Lisa's attorney, Jane Weintraub, tells TMZ the surrender is voluntary and part of a pre-arranged agreement following the charge filed earlier this week, insisting her client, quote, has nothing to hide as the legal process plays out. According to documents obtained by TMZ, prosecutors allege Lisa unlawfully and intentionally intercepted or tried to intercept wire, oral, or electronic communications involving Lenny and others he spoke with. The charge seems to stem from a March 2023 incident. March in 2023 was just a bad time for our girls. Notably, just a couple months before, reports surfaced claiming Lenny accused Lisa of planting a listening device under his car to monitor his phone calls. Lisa's ex-boyfriend, Jody, is facing the same charge and was already taken into custody in Florida over the weekend, while Lisa had a warrant out before arranging to turn herself in. What? Okay, I did see Jody's mugshot. I did look that up. Actually it was in the TMZ article and I couldn't look away. Haven't seen Lisa's yet. I mean, this just happened today. I guess she turned herself in. I don't know if are you kidding me? We're going to get the mugshot. We always get the mugshot. First of all, the fact that the Real Housewives of Miami are not rolling cameras right now is a felony in and of itself. I mean, I hate the fact that Real Housewives of Miami has been put on pause for a multitude of reasons. I loved Miami. I did kind of feel like they were starting to lose the plot at the end of last season with Adriana and Julia and all the things. I was like, okay, guys, this is getting kind of crazy. But second of all, like, I just hate the fact that Lenny... Look, I know Lenny did not put Lisa in this situation if she was like listening into his phone calls, but it's like, how much more of Lisa's life does Lenny have to steal from her for her to realize, cut the cord completely, walk away from the circumstance? He's been terrible to you. He's treated you like dirt. And now the situation has taken yet another turn. And like, who's the person that's suffering? You, Lisa. It's you. I get it. Easier said than done. He is the father of their children. But like, I just don't want Lenny to take any more from Lisa. And her having to turn herself into the authorities is doing just that. Okay, let's get into this week's deep dive. You guys, the rage that has filled my bones. I can't remember ever a time where it's like, yeah, Scandival. I can remember that time. But like, I don't know. I expected stuff like this from Tom Sandoval. The amount of rage and like repulsed energy that I got watching this week's episode of Summer House, I did not know that I could feel that way from these parasocial relationships. Like, I don't actually know these people, but I feel so betrayed. Like, I've gone to bat for the Summer House cast so many times because they're my favorite out of everybody. And it's like, I've been a West apologist. I've been an Amanda apologist. I've been a Kyle Cook apologist. I've been a Lindsay Hubbard apologist. I've been a Carl Radke apologist. Like, I defend them to the death. And it's just like, for the first time, I walked away from that episode and I was like, this is indefensible. And I hate the way that Amanda and West are making me feel. I hate it. We'll get into the episode, but first let's start with what happened this week and this weekend. So Amanda and West were spotted out multiple different times. They hit a Manhattan bar on Friday night where they were reportedly making out during a double date. West was later seen leaving Amanda's apartment the next morning with an overnight bag. I guess they went to the movies. I don't know. Amanda recently told followers that she was starting to live her life again. So she got on her Instagram and she basically said, look, actually, I'll read it. Hi, guys. I'll keep this short and sweet. I've obviously been MIA, but I wanted to come back on and say that I'm truly sorry to everyone I've disappointed and hurt, especially those I know personally who I've reached out to individually. For the sake of my mental health, I'm going to try to start living life with some sense of normalcy. If you see me out or posting online, please know that this still weighs very heavily on me. I'm not ignoring what's happened or what's unfolded. I'll be at the reunion and we'll be addressing any and all questions honestly and directly there. We all thought, okay, Amanda's got some brand deals to post. Maybe she's going to Coachella. The brand deal part was correct. She did do a partnership with Jimmy John's this week. But really, she wanted to go out to the bars with Wes Wilson. And that was like, okay, you really just made this announcement to the world. Hey, guys, I'm going to be hitting the bars tonight with Wes Wilson. Please don't comment about it. What do you expect from us, man? And if you're going to places where you have to drape a scarf around your head to not be seen, like, can you not go anywhere else? I'm sorry. I feel like, I don't want to say that it's easy to maintain a certain level of privacy, but I do think that if you're a public person, if you're a celebrity, that there are ways to maintain a level of privacy. Maybe don't go out to like the most crowded, poppin', hoppin' bars in the East Village. I don't know if that's where they were. I'm not a New Yorker, but like, I kind of feel like they want to be seen. And look, I don't think Amanda should be locked up in the house like Rapunzel, let down your long hair. Like, she's got to breathe some fresh oxygen. She needs to be able to get some vitamin D on her sun or on her skin. I understand that. I'm not saying she needs to be locked away in jail forever, but it's just like, to make a statement like that, to go on a pub crawl is the most wild thing I think I can imagine. You know, she does say, I'll be at the reunion and we'll be addressing any and all questions honestly and directly there. This has been, people have been wondering, like, is Amanda going to show up to the reunion? Is Wes going to show up to the reunion? I never doubted it because I just feel like, you know, they would just be such little, you know, what's if they didn't show up. But two things I'm really not looking forward to when it comes to the Summer House reunion. The moment that Andy Cohen is going to turn to Amanda and Wes and ask them, are you in love? Brace yourself, because you know what's going to happen and you know they're going to put it in the trailer for the reunion. The fact that Andy Cohen is asking Amanda Batula and Wes Wilson if they are in LOVE is going to send me over the edge. Not only that, before that, the seating chart is really just going to send me into another spiral. You're going to have Ciara and Amanda first seat across from each other. You're going to have Kyle Cook next to Ciara, and you're going to have Wes Wilson next to Amanda. I don't think I'm mentally prepared for that visual, to be quite honest with you. And also, while we're here, let's just squash that little rumor about this reunion being different and they're going to split them up and they're going to do one-on-ones and all these things. No, that's not happening. We need to stop believing everything we see on the internet. I know it's hard because we tell ourselves that and then it all ends up being true. But like this, no, Bravo's going to want to get their money's worth and having the full cast there to address Amanda and Wes is how they're going to get it. Let's move on to this week's episode because whoa, was that not the craziest episode of Summer House maybe ever? Like, hindsight, what did we just watch? You know, I've been reserving all thoughts that like maybe something started last summer because I just genuinely did not want to believe it. But I think after last night's episode, the question is definitely there, not just for us as viewers at home, but even the cast members. You know, Mia said it on Watch What Happens Live. She said, yeah, I think something happened last summer. Kyle was on Threads today saying, you know, let me just pull it up because I want to make sure I'm factually correct. And I did screenshot it because, you know, okay. It says, I've watched some hard to relive moments over the last 10 years. I've also seen things unfold as a viewer that I wasn't privy to as a cast member. Last night's episode, WTF. Yeah, we all felt that way. Truly, truly. And, you know I said this on the page, but I just want to drive it home in case some of you aren't on social media as much as I am. God bless you. If Mia thinks that something happened between Amanda and Wes last summer, I can bet that Ciara thinks so too. Because Mia is like a sister to Ciara. They've been friends for years. And I'm just like, thank God that Mia is on this season of Summer House. It almost feels like fate that this is the season that she was introduced to us through Ciara, coming in as a friend of Ciara and really being the friend to Ciara that we thought Amanda was. To me, Mia has this unwavering, genuine loyalty and respect towards Ciara that we thought Amanda had. And she really didn't. And we see that play out in this episode and now what's playing out, in real time. But I'm just like, wow. Not only that, I thought Mia, I've really loved her this season. I think she has solidified herself another season. But just seeing the way that she really rides hard for Ciara and will defend her and will stand by her side, I'm just so happy to have her. So let's get into the episode. West was flirting with Ciara in the kitchen, and Jesse, king of confessionals this episode, which who would have thought, says West isn't ready for a real relationship and he's gonna look like Kyle Cook by the time he's ready to settle down. Whoa, Jesse. I mean, true, but whoa. Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. I feel like looking back at it, West really loves attention from females. And looking back at it, I think Amanda really loves attention from males. And, that's how they ended up where they are right now. But there's also this looming moment that we're going to have between Amanda and Sabrina, because Sabrina is coming back to the house. Amanda's comment that she made really rubbed Sabrina the wrong way about, but everyone's in love with me, blah, 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 blah. And Amanda says in her confessional, yeah, I leaned into it because who doesn't like attention? And, you can really just tell that Amanda is feeling herself in those confessionals and they are not landing. They're not landing. But Amanda does apologize to Sabrina, says, it's been making me sick. I feel awful. And later there's this moment between Amanda, Ciara, and Mia in the bedroom where Amanda says, I don't like that I made someone feel any type of way with my words and my actions. And I believe Amanda when she says that. Unless I'm really being bamboozled, which I do kind of feel that way. I do kind of feel bamboozled by both Amanda and West. I feel like I, had fallen victim to the charismatic spell, specifically West, that he puts over people. And, Amanda, I just believed her tried and true to be, and I hate the girl's girl thing. Like, I get it, whatever. Just a good friend to Ciara. Like, I really believed that she would be that to her. But I do also think that Amanda is a sensitive person and cares about, does she? I don't know. Cause I'm going to say cares about the way that people feel. What am I trying to say? If Amanda does something to hurt somebody, I think that she takes it to heart. Am I being bamboozled again? I guess so. Ciara says, you aren't perfect. People mess up. You apologize. You're going to be fine. Amanda says, I feel stupid. And Ciara says, you're used to being beaten down. You're used to not being given any grace. You don't realize you're magic. Ciara is just there hyping Amanda up, getting her confidence back, which is what Ciara has done to Amanda the entire season. How many episodes ago was Ciara saying, Amanda, if you want to leave your husband, come stay with me. It's a free roof over your head. I'll be there for you. We're going to see her later, because we saw it in the trailer, say to Amanda, if he continues to treat you this way, you need to tell him I am leaving. So Ciara has just always been in Amanda's corner. And Amanda says, I'm really grateful to have you guys as friends. Yeah. So then this girl rocks up and West is hanging all over her and she's hanging all over West. And Amanda and West are in the kitchen together and she brings up again how I went skinny dipping with Ben. It's like, we get it. How many times do you have to tell us that you went skinny dipping with Ben in Italy? We get it. We know. And it's like she's saying it to West again. And there's another moment in this episode where it's like a weird thing to say to West. It's like, why are you saying all of these weird, like attention-seeking things when it comes to West? And West says, I love that you got in trouble for something. She's like, no, I cried. They giggle and laugh about how Ben wants Amanda. He's so funny. It's so funny. Later in the episode, West's girl of the hour comes down and sits on his lap. And he's like, oh my God. And she's like, why are you saying, oh my God? And West says, I used to kind of date the girl behind you. When West says, but like, who cares? When explaining to the girl sitting on his lap that Ciara is 5 inches away from him and they've been working on their relationship all summer, I'm like, who cares? Who cares? Because you have cared. You have cared about Ciara flirting with Jesse. You have cared about Jesse even speaking into existence, like maybe kissing Ciara. The whole house cares. Ben is in his confessional saying, what are you doing? You know, the whole who cares thing really did not sit well with me. And I think it reiterates what Ciara said in her confessional and what she says to Amanda and Mia at the end of the episode. She's crying to Amanda at the end of the episode saying, he can't be a friend to me. He doesn't see me. How can you be a friend to someone you don't see? And the fact that she is saying this to Amanda, I mean, she could have been speaking directly to her. It's like this ominous foreshadowing of how Ciara feels in these friendships, only for the person she's confiding in to turn around and do it to her 4 months later, 5 months later. The pain. This next moment was it just gives me the heebie-jeebies to even think about it in my head. Okay, Wes and his lady friend are laying down, and Amanda comes over. What you doing? What you doing? Am I crashing your party? She lays down with him and her. He's running his fingers through her hair. They're just having a fat chat. And then she gets up and she says, watch my butt when I walk away. And what? I'm sorry. In what world is that conscionable to say to one of your friends as a married woman? And, you know, Amanda loved that this episode in her confessional where she's like, putting it all on Ben, like, oh, Ben is the one who wanted me in Italy. I'm married. Okay, well, you're still letting him curl you up like a ball and carry you into the summer house. You're still telling Wes Wilson to watch your butt as you walk away. So, like, you're crossing the line as a married woman by saying those things on national television. But anyways, even Mia on Watch What Happens Live said that was the moment that stood out to her in this week's episode. And like I said, Mia said that she thinks something has happened or did happen last summer. And we're all questioning it too. I mean, not only that, this next moment with Amanda and West and the rest of the house. So the house is sitting outside. And everyone says, hey, Wes, thanks for inviting people to this party. And Amanda says, yeah, even that girl you were making out with all night. You got too comfortable on probation. And West is bringing up the fact that Ciara has been cuddling with Jesse right in front of his face for the past 2 years, which is true. And I know it's not cuddling, but he did freak out about the whole Ciara potentially kissing Jesse. So it's like, come on, be for real. But Amanda says, you guys have been making progress. So why at this small, intimate party do you decide to have this girl sitting on your lap the whole time making out with her? Amanda, giving her Gettysburg Address to the entire house, and Wes says there's a level of respect that we have to live here together. You don't say that there's a level of respect that you have to have for your friends. And this is where I, as a viewer and longtime Summer House stan, am starting to feel a little played. Because what happened to your level of respect for Ciara? It's like, did the respect fly out the sunroof as soon as you pull out of the summer house driveway. As soon as the cameras go down, there goes your respect for Ciara as a friend of yours. I'm going to start questioning the authenticity of the respect that you show Ciara on camera, because we all see the respect that you're showing her off camera. And I just already know that Amanda is going to come into the reunion being like, we're not as close as you guys think we are. Save it. Save it. Because we don't want to hear it. I'm telling you, it's got me riled up in ways that I haven't been riled up in a long time. I'm like having to watch my tongue, control the tongue morgue. I don't really know if it's working. I'm a human after all. But let's get into this week's final thoughts. We're going to take a hard pivot. This is more of a serious story, and I do want to give a trigger warning because this segment includes some discussion of alleged sexual assaults. And this is going down between Katy Perry and Ruby Rose. So Katy Perry is being investigated by Australian authorities following sexual assault allegations made by Ruby Rose on Threads earlier this week. So this is a quote from the police, the Australian authorities. Melbourne sexual offenses and child abuse investigation team detectives are investigating a historical sexual assault that occurred in Melbourne in 2010. They said police have been told the incident occurred at a licensed premises in Melbourne's central business district, which Ruby Rose said on Threads that Katy Perry, I guess they were in like this nightclub. Katy Perry, it's kind of graphic, you guys, I'm sorry, pulled her underwear to the side and started rubbing her parts on her face at a nightclub in 2010. And Rose said that she's finalized all reports and can no longer publicly discuss the case, noting this means I'm no longer able to comment, repost, or talk publicly about any of those cases or the individuals involved. She added, it's going to look like I am ignoring everything from supportive messages to other people's experiences, but I'm not. Ruby Rose called the police request a standard request and said it was quite the relief, adding she plans to start the healing process and move forward. Katy Perry's team categorically denies these claims, saying they're categorically false and reckless lies. A spokesperson for Katy Perry said Miss Rose has a well-documented history of making serious public allegations on social media against various individuals, claims that have been repeatedly denied by those named. Rose claims that she has photos and multiple witnesses and said she previously reframed the incident as a joke. She says, I told the story publicly, but changed it to be a funny little drunk story because I didn't know how else to handle it. And added, later, Perry agreed to help me get my US visa, so I kept it a secret. Really odd story, obviously. Don't really know what to think of it. I think the way that this all came up is really strange to me. This came up on social media because Katy Perry, I guess, was at Justin Bieber's Coachella set over the weekend. And, the whole there was like a YouTube moment where Justin Bieber for about 20 minutes sang with old YouTube videos of Baby Bieber, right? Like My Only One, whatever. And Justin was singing with it. And the camera panned to Katy, and Katy said, well, I'm glad he has YouTube Premium because we don't need the ads. Haha, very funny. It's like, okay, was it that funny? I don't really know. But Ruby Rose responded to that and was just like, you guys don't think Katy Perry is funny. She's actually a horrible person. And then that's how she revealed this information on Threads, which just is, again, an odd way for this type of story to come up about, a random thing with Justin Bieber. It's like Katy Perry has been in the headlines for multiple different reasons over the past 16 years. If this happened in 2010, it's like, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I don't really want to make anything of it, to be completely honest with you. I'm just telling you the facts of the story, and we'll see how it progresses. All right, guys, thanks again for tuning in today's MPT. If you want the episodes a day early and ad-free, make sure you join Liveless Plus, patreon.com/Morgan's Pop Talks. The link is in the show notes below. You also get an additional episode every single week, Extra Pop, where you get to pick what episode we recap, and every single week it's been Summer House. So if you want to hear a full recap of this week's Summer House episode, you're going to want to be subscribed to Lilas Plus. If not, I'll see you back here next week. And as always, love you like a sis.